For today's Cyber CEO episode,
𝗙će's been helping me out. The tasks that I personally don't like them, but I'm never going to sit down and do those things. It's like making a spreadsheet. I just don't do it, right? But 𝗙će's doing a great job and she loves to do those things. And having somebody I can leverage those other tasks onto, I mean, she does a better job than I do. She's there to do things that I can't do very well. And she does a great job with them. So the biggest thing about it to me, I think, is that it makes me look more professional. The fact that I can just have somebody that I can trust to take care of that stuff while I'm, doing my 20% task, trying to get a new contract, that's the biggest part of it for me.
welcome to Cyber CEO, wherein we talk about how our cyberbackers helped our cyber CEOs take their businesses to the next level. Cyber CEO is powered by Cyberbacker, the world's leading provider of admin support services from anywhere in the world to anyone in the world. Please visit our website www.cyberbacker.com for more details. Another awesome day here at Cyberbacker. My name is 𝗙𝗲𝗋. We're back with another episode of Cyber CEO, and we have a very special guest coming back to the show. Ross, how are you doing today?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you very much for coming back. I know you have a lot of things to do, so really appreciate you doing this. Now, what we're going to do today, we're going to talk more about your Cyberbacker experience, of course, and virtual leverage. So before we go, talk about anything else, have things changed ever since you last were here on the show, Ross?
No, I think it was a pretty good review on the first episode, and no, nothing has changed. Things have continued on. Business is continuing to grow, and 𝗙će's right there helping us, grow the business hand in hand, and she's doing a great job still.
So how long have you been working together, by the way?
I think January or February, maybe February will be a year.
First year.
February or March. We're close. We're close to the 12-month anniversary. Right. So
close to the first year. All right. Now, how about her role though? Have anything, or has her tasks? I mean, have you added new tasks to her plate, things like that, or same thing?
Yeah, I think her primary focus, right, is transaction coordinator. She's by TC, so she's still doing all that, but she has started to branch out a little bit. We've started to implement some newsletters and things like that. And she's had some access to social media, and she's creating social media posts and starting to kind of branch out into some other things as well. And she's doing a good job. And I mean, for example, she put together a recap video for my Instagram, going into New Year's, showing some of the highlights from my, media from my listings from last year, and edited it and put it together and posted it. And I've got a lot of good feedback on that. And, so she's doing a great job starting to show us that she's got some other talents as well, along with the organizational skills and tracking of our transactions and all that stuff that she's been doing such a great job with so far.
So really social media has been her new thing then so far for the past few months. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, and also like the newsletters and stuff, right? Oh. So, we're sending out newsletters. I've been an individual agent, right? And 𝗙će's been helping me out. And I have another agent that I'm going to be partnering with, and we've started to work together. So she's also working with 𝗙će and myself. And so the three of us are starting to, kind of come up with some new ideas and things. So like newsletters, right? So 𝗙će's putting together some newsletters through MailChimp, I think is what she's using currently. And she's got to figure out content, right? So we help her kind of guide, like, hey, she's obviously, you guys are thousands and thousands of miles away, right? It's hard for her to have a good idea of what our local community is about and those sorts of things, right? But we're figuring out ways to provide her with information so that she can then go through and, she's got her own personality and her own interests, and we can tell that some of that's starting to come out too, and what she's choosing to post and in the newsletters. And it's cool. It's fun. And it's, those are more of the tasks that I personally just don't have to right. I just never will. I mean, I just don't like them. Great idea, but I'm never going to sit down and do those things. It's like making a spreadsheet. I just don't do it. Right. But Matthew's doing a great job and she loves to do those things. And so, having somebody that I can leverage those other tasks onto, and she does a better job than I do. Right. So that's why we hired her. She's there to do things that I can't do very well, and she does a great job with them. So
how did that start out, though? Again, she's been your transaction coordinator for a few now branched out to more marketing than newsletters, things like that, things to post. How did that start?
Well, quite frankly, she just gets everything done so fast that she runs out of stuff to do. So I just have to be like, I don't know, what else can you do? No, that's a joke that we have, but I mean, it's true to a certain degree. We'll send her something to do, and I'm like, oh, this will keep her busy for a day, right? And it's like 2 hours later, she's like, oh, here you go. Oh, wow. So yeah, just trying to she's just always so willing to she didn't want to sit there and do nothing, right? So she wants to be busy. So she's trying to be clever and find ways to keep herself busy. And yeah, it's great, So we're starting to try to get some kind of find some themes and some motifs to the style of our Instagram posts and all that kind of stuff too. And it's just really cool to see how that all progresses, because you start at one place. I mean, I'm posting on Instagram making up stuff myself, and it doesn't look good, right? And so now I have somebody that actually can sit down for a couple hours and think about the composition of a post and the colors that we're using and the text and all that good stuff. That it's just it's great to have somebody that has that capacity. Yeah.
No, you mentioned that
contracts, right? So
you mentioned that it all started out as just how you joked about it earlier. So of course her growth is not going to stop. She's going to continue learning with you. So once she gets the hang of those newsletters, those posts that you want her to do, she's going to want to do more. So if ever she wants to do more within the next few months, what other things would you want her to do then?
Well, I think the exciting part of it is that the idea of bringing this other agent into partnership with me and 𝗙ecie is that we're going to be starting a team, right? Sure. So I think we're going to be hiring additional folks throughout this upcoming, next year, maybe 24 months. And just seeing how it'll be interesting, because 𝗙cie's been with me for a year now, right? She's got time on the team and she's got some seniority. And so when we bring in a new staff, it's like, oh, she's going to be teaching them and helping them. And I, just learning how 𝗙cie's going to fit into that bigger picture of a team as we move forward, right, is going to be fun and different and interesting. And, I think that we'll start to there'll be other people involved that will be able to, handle some of the menial tasks that are day to day. And 𝗙cie can really focus on creating these systems that or perfecting these systems that she started to create to help manage our transactions. And I think we're looking to grow big time, double our business this year, hire more folks. So as long as she wants to stay with us, then she'll be able to help create this new team that we're building together. So
that's going to be,
I don't know to answer your question, but it's something. We'll figure it out as we go, I think.
Out when we get there.
Because she's great and we want to keep her around, Don't want to lose her. So
not going to lose her, I think, because I believe she's also having a great time working with you in your business, of course. Now, in something in relation to that, a partnership that you have with 𝗙cie, your Cyberbacker, of course, it always doesn't start like that all the time. You have to build on the partnership. So for sure, some of our listeners might need tips from you, probably because you're going on your first year. Let's talk about communication. How do you properly communicate with your Cyberbacker? Again, she's thousands of miles away from you. How do you build that strong partnership through communication?
Yeah, I think it was important to me from the get-go to come from a place of curiosity and from a perspective that I've never been to the Philippines. I've never been to that hemisphere of the globe, right? So to assume that I have any fundamental understanding of any sort of cultural or societal norms that 𝗙cie grew up with in her community, right? So I think coming from that place and just asking questions and being curious and being willing to kind of learn and understand and try to think, how, she's probably thinking about everything completely differently than I am. Right. And so I need to learn how to see things from her perspective and her side of the table. So just, come from curiosity. And if she doesn't understand something or she asks me some questions, it's easy in business when you're busy and you got a lot going on, when you ask somebody to do something and they turn around and like maybe ask you a question or a clarifying question, to be frustrated by that. It's like, I don't know, you figure it out, just do your job, right? But being able to sit down and understand why she's asking that question, you know, and say, oh, well, maybe this was something that I could have prefaced and I could have provided her with some additional information on the front end to prevent, you know, her having to come back to me and ask a clarifying question, right? So, you know, just learning how to, what's my part in this, and how can I make sure I'm communicating effectively while coming from a place of understanding that, you know, first of all, we speak different languages and from the get-go, right? So words themselves have different meanings. So we have to like all kind of step back and understand and have some perspective that we gotta take some time to figure out how to communicate from across the globe, right? So
how do you communicate though? Do you do Zoom calls, just like what we do now, or phone calls is better for you? Text messages, emails?
I think it seems like Matthew likes to text the most. We all have Google Voice numbers, right? So, you know, using Google Voice for texting, and you can video call, you can voice call, and then we're emailing as well. We do Zooms every once in a while. You know, I think going forward this year, we're probably going to start to try to implement some more consistent meetings and things like that. I think, you know, me as an individual agent with Matthew, it's just kind of like pretty loose, and my schedule's all over the place, and you never know. Her schedule's consistent, but I may be 2 hours away without cell phone service showing a you know, rural property, and you know, it's just, it doesn't always work out that we can be in direct communication. But I think going forward, my partner and I have talked about trying to like pick out some days, you know, maybe it's the first Wednesday of the month, or every Monday at 10 a.m. You know, we do a 15-minute Zoom call and just check in with everybody, especially as we look at hiring more people going forward. We want that communication to feel, you know, clear. And if there's somebody in the office with the two of us that's never seen Matthew, then that doesn't probably feel like the same type of relationship, right? So yeah, let's figure out. We actually just got a new office, and we got a big old new TV in our office on the wall, and I'm going to order a camera. We haven't told Matthew this yet, but I'm going to order a camera that's going to be able to, like, you know, you can see the whole office, right? So that's the idea moving forward. We'll be able to have Zooms and kind of create that sense of community, and like she's actually there, even though we're on the other side of the world. So
I can just see how you want her to make her feel that she's a part of the team, even though she's thousands of miles away. Just bringing her in, something like that, engaging with your Cyberbacker, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, you know, I mean, I feel like as a world, internationally, we have gotten away from community altogether, and it's time to kind of bring it all back in, right? Let's all be friends. So I want to, we want to lift people up with our business, right? As we grow and as we become more successful, we want those with us that have helped us to, you know, all a rising tide floats all ships, right? So we want everybody to succeed and see success and wealth from this. So we want to keep her around and keep her on the team and see what it looks like. And we don't really know yet, but she's great. So we want her to be a part of it in some capacity.
One team, one family, of course. Now, you mentioned about the growth of the business, again, planning on doubling the business this year. So part of growth, there could be challenges, right? So when it comes to challenges, have you had challenges working with someone who's virtual so far?
To be honest with you, the biggest challenge is just like slight nuance in communication, probably. And that comes in the form of like, oh, if we're going to like send out a post or something like that. And, you know, maybe the diction of a sentence, the syntax of a sentence that Matthew might write may be a little bit different than how we would just normally speak in our area, right? The words we would use, it might be slightly different. Not that she wrote something incorrectly, right? It's just like maybe a little bit different. So just like finding out, just trying to like pay attention to that nuance and those things. But I mean, that's really, I think, just like a cultural, societal language barrier, not necessarily anything to do with the virtual assistant idea and its nature, right? Yeah, Matthew works hard and does her job, and I think that's what makes a good virtual assistant. As long as she's over there doing her job, then like if we're communicating, everything's great. So yeah, I mean, I haven't had any issues so far. Worth noting.
No real issues then when it comes to your,
No.
of course, Cyberbacker. One last question. For sure.
Okay.
Of course, we wanted to know, you've been with your Cyberbacker for almost a year now. So I'd like to know, how has virtual leverage through Cyberbacker impacted your business so far for the first year, Ross?
The biggest thing about it to me, I think, is that it makes me look more professional. Having a transaction coordinator, an assistant, somebody that I'm including on emails and I'm asking people to include and saying, hey, this is a team, we run this business together. If you have any, please include 𝗙ecie, please send her. If you have any questions and I'm not available, please ask her. Just having that sense of like a professional business team, set up, I think is the biggest part of it for me, because it allows me to feel comfortable. If I have a closing one afternoon, but I'm at an appointment, I know that 𝗙cie's being copied on all the communication, all the emails with the attorneys and the lenders, so that if I'm busy and I'm in a meeting and I can't get to my phone, or I could get to my phone, but it's going to be rude if I say, hey, I have something more important that I need to, than you, my client, who I'm showing a house to right now or whatever. I have something more important I have to go take care of. That's pretty rude. So the fact that I can just have somebody that I can trust to take care of that stuff while I'm doing my 20% task, trying to get a new contract to get us all paid, right? That's the biggest part of it for me.
So having that Cyberbacker, having that backup whenever you need it, that can help you whenever you're out there, of course, creating more business. Now, we're excited for your first year. Of course, we're very excited where this partnership is going to grow to. And again, Ross, thank you very much for dropping by today. I had fun talking to you.
Absolutely. All right. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to our daily dose of CyberCEO. Stay tuned to know more about how Cyberbacker creates a difference in this digital time and age. You can visit our website www.cyberbacker.com and follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify.